Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy, technology, principles, applications. This video is about magnetic energy healing centers. This has been a long time kind of fun topic, one of my favorites that we've talked about with people over the years. But real quick, so why am I doing these videos? There's a lot of different reasons, but a couple of the reasons are this is my little way of honoring the people that have given their lives for this type of technology and for this model. This is an etheric magnetic energy model of the universe, and there's been brilliant people that have given their lives for this, and so I want to honor them. That's part of it. Part of it is just my little way of planting seeds in the global consciousness and contributing to planting those seeds in the global consciousness. So as we transition into this technology and into a new model of thinking, that the seeds will hopefully grow and grow and grow. And that brings me to the last point, and that really is to hopefully start a dialogue that helps talk about all these different topics related to this model of the universe. So as we are in a scientific revolution, and we're just beginning, and hopefully it's going to go relatively fast, and then we could be entering into a very significant scientific revolution as we move away from this old, outdated scientific theories that really don't allow humanity to progress in the way that we really need to in order to save our world, and to move into a more neutral move into a model of the universe that includes like neutral magnetic energy or neutral etheric energy. And so we really want to kind of transition into that, and then the technology and that goes with that model is obviously what this channel is about, to a large degree, and that will transform the world. And so as as humanity evolves and progresses, which hopefully we will, because time is kind of running a bit short, so we'll see how this all goes. We should be moving into that new model of the universe. And I also feel like people kind of deserve to get just even like a small glimpse into what like top secret organizations are doing around the world and what they're actually working on. And so that's why I mention those things once in a while. Let's just leave that at that. I don't even want to talk about that. That's just too risky. So the Magnetic Energy Healing Center has, one of the important things about this is the materials that are used for construction. So we want to stick with kind of like in the magnetic energy community model, if we can do like a dome structure or something that's a geometric, like sacred geometry. It could be like anything that fits, like scales that have geometric shapes that are universally found. And so there's a lot of that, spiral shapes and everything. But let's just go for simplicity's sake right now. Let me talk about like a dome. And so this dome structure could be, depending on the demand and the size, like 80 feet, 100 feet in diameter, up to 200 feet in diameter, depending on where it's located, how many people it serves, whatever. So the structure of the dome and the structure of the foundation of the dome are very critical. So all of that kind of needs to be the same. And what we're looking at creating is kind of like a crystalline geometric lattice that has our alloy, like Tialco, be like laden throughout it, like embedded throughout that crystalline lattice. And so that the shell, if you will, of the dome could start at like 2 to 3 feet wide, and then maybe narrow out to a foot at the top, depending on how that dome is structured. Now, the material is really of the utmost importance, and so it has to either include something like that material, which is extraordinarily strong. I mean, we're talking like, this is, not only is it basically like see-through, but it's stronger than titanium. So this is a spaceship material I'm talking about, and I'll get right into why we want to use something that futuristic or that extraordinary. And so the whole dome essentially, and the foundation of the dome, has type of material. Now, it could be done in geodesic style where you grow or develop the panels, or you could have the whole thing be one complete structure with no seams in it. And so this is developed or grown, and so this is where a lot of people fall short on this. Not with heat. You don't need heat, and so NASA, stop constructing things that way. Sorry. That was crossing the line a little bit. So it's developed in neutral magnetic pulsing fields that allow you to grow these crystals, if you will, and develop these crystals at room temperature. And so with those pulsing magnetic fields, they control the exponential, radical, if you want to, accelerated growth of this material. And so that way it can grow relatively fast. And then we'll get into why you only need a couple of those. But then you have our alloy thialkyl B, basically embedded throughout, like sprinkled, if you will, throughout that entire process. So this is a very highly geometrically linked lattice that is three-dimensional, and it creates an unbelievably strong structure. But it's not just that, it creates a structure that we can control the pulsing of that entire structure. And so why is that important? Part of it's important because at some point, as the technology progresses, if you want these domes to become mobile, you can have the entire dome essentially become weightless so that it's very easy to move. The other thing is it could literally be turned into a vehicle that is anti-gravitic. And so you could locate those in different situations. But then it gets a little bit deeper than that, because we want the whole structure, which will then also include everything that's inside the structure. We want it to be able to pulse at a relatively neutral magnetic pulsing at a fairly high pulse rate that allows the whole structure to kind of go into this state of flux energy, if you will, and I've talked about this in other videos, so that we can duplicate the structure. And so we can duplicate them and create one after another, so we don't have to go through the whole process of reconstructing. If we're very happy with, like, say, model A or C or D or whatever it is, then we duplicate that entire structure, and then you have the magnetic repeaters that will basically have the duplication of that structure at whatever location that you want that to be, and those are quantumly linked. And so that really gives us the ability to get the magnetic energy healing centers out around the world without having, first of all, extraordinary cost, but then also just the time and stuff that it would take for each one. Now, they can be developed relatively fast, but I mean, I don't know if you can beat duplicating it. And so that's why I've said, like, all you need basically are the repeaters, and you could literally fit those in a suitcase, and then you could duplicate that dome structure anywhere on the planet, or off planet for that matter. Now, so the structure, to go now into like the healing center of this, because this is essentially like a hospital of the future. So everything about this is designed with intention that is basically revolving around this neutral magnetic pulsing model. And so everything inside of that structure, we control basically the environment, the energy, the airflow, the light flow. The lights are all magnetic. No electricity will be inside of a real magnetic energy healing center. In fact, it won't even work if the pulsing is on for the entire dome. So as you walk into that structure, you immediately start feeling the effects of that. And what we want to be able to do is we want to work with the overall pulse of the structure so that there's certain parts of that magnetic energy healing center that can be zero gravity, because there's certain conditions and certain things that will be worked on in there where you want it to be basically no influence from the planet's gravity circuit, the magnetic gravity around us. So it has to essentially be isolated for certain therapies to take place, if that makes sense. Water is a key part of this. And so if you compare, just for a second, if you compare a conventional hospital to a magnetic energy healing center, I mean, of course there's no comparison, but let's just get into a couple of the comparisons. So let's say you need to be hydrated. Are we going to provide you with dead sugar water? in a plastic container that gets pumped into your system or gets you IV'd into your system? Oh, hell no. So you're not going to get dead sugar water to try to keep you alive. You're going to get magnetically charged healing water that when you either take it through an IV or you drink that water, it changes your body. Inside of a magnetic energy healing center, viruses, bacteria, and any foreign growth, this could be any microbial growth, it could be any type of cancerous growth, anything, cannot exist inside of this environment. Every single one of the frequencies, polarities, resonances of all of those diseases on this planet are absolutely tracked. They will be tracked 100%, and they will be eliminated in this environment. So that's really powerful, because what it allows us to do is remove disease from someone's body immediately. Now, if someone needs some sort of surgery or something removed, there will be no invasive surgery in a magnetic energy healing center. We do not need to cut open the body to perform surgery. So everything can be done outside of the body. And part of the reason for why we don't need to invade the body is the body has energetic signatures that come in it and leave it at all times. If there is something foreign, if something is not supposed to be there, that energy signature coming in and going out is immediately influenced. It's affected. It changes the resonance of that frequency of that energy coming in and out. So with the magnetic energy, what we can do is we alter that resonance, the incoming, the outflowing, and we target those areas because it's easy to find them at that point. We have something so much better than x-rays and MRIs and CAT scans. There's no comparison. We will get down to the subatomic level, and so and we will see the actual causes of what's happening. So this type of medical center is not about treating symptoms. This is about going straight after the cause and changing the cause at a deep level. And we're going to go even a little deeper than that. So as you can see, like, there's a little bit of a difference. Now, if there's an injury or something, we have spontaneous regeneration pulsing. Now, how can we do that? Part of the reason we can do that is because we are accessing interdimensional template energy of the human body and of the human energy body, and all the information we need genetically and everything is contained there. And so as we sync those things up, we get immediate spontaneous regeneration of the physical body, like for a broken bone or whatever. And don't get me started on the implications this can have for sports, because if you've ever been screwed on your fantasy football team, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Then it would be the end of injuries in sports. But anyway, off topic. Sorry, back to topic. There are a number of things that happen to us in our society, especially where we've been, that are like epigenetic factors, and they can be detrimental epigenetic factors that start as soon as someone gets any kind of like vaccination when they're young, or as soon as they're exposed to some kind of chemical in the environment, or toxins, household toxins, pesticides in their food, all of these things. And so those become these detrimental epigenetic factors, and it could be even anything like prion diseases, anything related to that might alter your RNA or DNA or anything. As in a magnetic energy healing center, what will be done is the actual DNA that exists for you at your higher dimensional template, at your energy body, that's what will be instilled into the physical body. Okay, so along with a high vibration of energy, which that has something, now keep in mind, this is a little bit out there, but it's basically tuning you into the higher vibration of the planet, and then tuning you into the higher vibration of your energy template, so that any of the physical ailments or any foreign bodies or anything that has impacted your current genetic code, like epigenetically, those will all be removed. So you can kind of start to get to how this becomes so powerful. One of the things that's cool about like a magnetic energy healing center is practitioners. So think about all the modes of like healing. Like it could be something like Reiki, or it could be like any kind of hands-on healing, or even like acupuncture, acupressure. There's a whole bunch of modalities that we use that don't really get much recognition now. But imagine those modalities being supercharged, really supercharged, so that you have practitioners that when they are in the environment of this magnetic energy center, their abilities are kind of off the charts. They have that gift, that ability to help people heal and everything. And to go a little crazy with that, there will be guided out of body experiences so that you can see at a higher dimensional level, interdimensional level, interlife level, what are some issues that could be currently impacting your current incarnation and how to heal those issues, even those interdimensional, interlife issues that may have some residual energy that is currently affecting, or you or your body or whatever. And so we have this multidimensional level of healing that takes place in this center. So we got to go a little bit beyond just the physical world, and we're looking into what our real nature is, where we're like, what's actually impacting us at every level. And then this is a little crazy, but the neutral magnetic energy loves to attract to any kind of polarizing energy. So like magnetic resonance energy that a person has, what is essentially done is the person's, like the ideal human body of that individual attracts the energy that we provide it with their own magnetic resonance, and then we ramp that up, and that helps assist in transformation and ideal health and healing. So really what's happening in that process is, instead of us saying, this is what your body needs, let me give you a chemical, let me give you a pill, let me give you a drug, instead of us declaring like we're in charge or we have the all-knowing thing, we are allowing the highest version of that person's body and their energy body to guide the healing process. Okay, and that's what's so important about the neutral magnetic pulsing, is it's neutral by definition, and so it will change to the polarities that every person needs, and there's an infinite number of them. So for us to think that we're all big and mighty and hot shots and like we're going to tell the body what it needs, to some degree is insane, because there are subatomic resonances that go nearly infinitely deep. And it's so critical that we let the human body dictate what's happening. See, part of this is we've got to move past the old paradigm and get to where we recognize like north and south polarities for what they are, the inflow and outflow of energies that when you properly blend them and pulse them, they produce powerful neutral energy, like a system of energy that is not contained by any physical, like what we would call a physical system. Does that make sense? Because as soon as we have a relatively neutral pulse of magnetic / etheric energy that is non-material in nature, that pulse of energy now can move infinitely fast, so way faster than the speed of light, through attraction, and we can then, and it can attract an infinite amount of neutral, more neutral etheric magnetic energy that we can then use to do an unlimited number of tasks. So I hope you're following that. That's kind of the key to all of this technology, is we create that system of energy that has no physical counterpart, that allows it to be interdimensional in nature, and that allows it to attract the etheric energy that we want to attract. We want to attract an unlimited amount of etheric energy. So things like our entire dome, no matter how large it is, resonates with an incredible frequency that is interplanetary. Now here's the coolest part about the magnetic energy healing centers. They are networked around the globe magnetically. from a neutral magnetic energy point of view, they are completely networked. So not only are they here to heal humans and animals, and you can take your pets there, obviously, all these principles apply to your pets, no matter what kind of animal they are, and animals out in nature for that matter as well. But they're here to help heal the planet. So everywhere this magnetic energy exists, the ionosphere, the ozone layer, all around it and above it is being healed. The air around it for miles is being completely cleansed. The atmosphere is being balanced and cleansed. The water, anywhere near the magnetic energy healing center, the water is being changed. It's being raised not only in its vibratory signatures, but in its mineral its mineral count, like its mineral code, if you will, because there's kind of like a magnetic code in there, but it's the ratios of minerals and it's the ratios of chemicals in the atmosphere and in the water. This brings them back to complete harmony and balance with the planet. So then, as these magnetic energy healing centers essentially communicate with each other, they help to rebalance and restore the magnetic energy grid around the planet, the ionosphere, the ozone layer, and then the magnetosphere and beyond. So this is a big deal, and it's a big deal for this planet to move in this direction, to have this type of technology and the consciousness that will go with this technology, not only to raise us up as humans, but to get into where we can have this planet be raised up as well, and heal the energy fields around it. And so I hope I touched on everything I was meant to touch on for this process. And if there's any questions, please email them in or send them in if you want through the comments. If you want your privacy protected, that's cool. Just send the email. Otherwise, put a comment on here. If you like the video, obviously hit like and share it if you want to. That's cool if you feel compelled. And I thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.